Okay, in this Carista manual, what we're going to look at is shift management on the rota. So it's going to be quite a big manual because obviously there's quite a lot of elements to it that you need to know. So if you want to get yourself logged in here, just chuck your details in and we'll get ourselves to the home page. And then if you want to navigate to one of your rotas, which is obviously the section down here that says My Rotas, down the left hand side. Okie doke. So what we'll do is we'll just actually skip to a blank week, so it's a bit easier. So you'll remember all the navigation things up the top left from the overview of Carista manual that we did, just explaining what all these buttons do. It's quite important that you obviously understand them because it makes things a lot easier when you're actually managing the rota. Okay doke, so first things first, if we want to add a single shift, what we need to do is we'll just go to the date. So if we say we want to add a shift for Brian here supporting Richard, and we want that to happen on Monday, we just double click in the box there that says Monday, and that'll open up a wee pop-up window. So what we need to do is obviously at the first menu here is select the support type. So if we just say he's doing a one-to-one support and he's doing it 9 till 5, obviously if you did click on the first box, it's going to come up with the date being the date off that first box, but you can actually change that manually, or you can bring up the calendar and change the date in there as well if you wanted to. The travel to and from probably won't be in the final version of the system, so we could just ignore that. The staff hours, that section is quite important, so we need to know whether it's a contracted hour or if it's additional hours, so overtime, that person is working. So obviously sessional staff would have casual hours, or it might be named slightly differently in the final version. But if we just say it's contracted hours for this example, um, because we double clicked on the first box there, it was relating to Brian. It's obviously assigned the staff member as Brian there. But if you wanted to, you could do that drop down menu there. You could select Colin, who's the other staff member of the team, or it also gives you the option to select different staff members that are in other services as well. But we'll just keep this one for Brian. And again, the same option below there, because it was the box and we're in Richard's team rota here, it's automatically assigned the supported person as Richard down there, but there's only one person in this rota, so you can only select Richard there. You can put any notes in for the shift, so if somebody specifically has to do something that day, you can put a little note in there to tell them, I don't know, take Richard to the bank that day or something like that. You can put that in there. And then once you're happy with all the information, you just tick the green tick up here. If you decide halfway through that actually no, I don't want to add that shift, you just tick the red cross up here. But we want to add that shift, so we're just going to tick the green button there. And as you'll see, it's added a nice green box on Monday there. And if you hover over it, it gives you the details of the shift. So it says 9 till 5, Richard Test, who's the person that we're supporting, and it's one-to-one support for Brian. The Brian's delivering to Richard. So that's how to add a single shift. The next thing what you can do is if you decide actually I want to give that shift to Colin, you can click on the shift, which will highlight the shift yellow, and then you just drag it down until it falls into Colin's box, and you just let that go, and that just reassigns the shift to Colin. The other option what you can do is if you right click on the shift, you can click allocate, and then you can either click Brian if you want to move it back again. Other service staff, it'll bring up things there. Agencies won't be there. Or you can unallocate the shift. So if you decide that actually that shift still needs to go ahead, but at the minute I'm not entirely sure who it's going to go to, you can click on allocated there, or actually you can click unallocated in here as well, and that'll just move it into a blank row of unallocated shifts that you know you need to assign to people. Now, because that was green because it was allocated, you'll now see the box in Richard's line there has turned white. That's because that shift's not been allocated to anybody. So what we can do is we can right click and we can allocate it to Brian again if we wanted to, or alternatively we can right click it, and there's this option down here that says reallocate to. Now if you click on reallocate to, it actually brings you up a pop-up window, which allows you to find people from other teams. So at the minute, find worker from team, we're actually in Richard's team at the minute, and Colin's the only other member in the team. But it also tells you how many visits they've previously had with Richard, so that's quite handy, and how many hours are remaining, whether they're free or not. It also gives you a toil calculation there as well. But if you decided you want to grab somebody from our team, you would just use the drop down window there. And select another team. So there's enable test, and that has lots of different people in it. So say we wanted myself to then support Richard, we would just click my link there on the left hand side, and as you can see, it's actually populated a new line for me in there with myself there, and it's given me the shift, and we're both green now. What you will see is, because I've been brought in from another rota, it has actually populated this rota with grey boxes on my line. Now these grey boxes are shifts that I have on other people's rotas, so it's so that when you're assigning any shifts on this rota, you know that actually I can't do a shift on a Tuesday evening or sleepover or whatever it is, because these are shifts on other rotas. Now, if you decide that actually I've assigned that shift, but actually Richard doesn't need that shift that day anymore, what we can do is, if we just click down here in the bottom right hand corner and we click delete, it'll actually open up the rota in a slightly different view. You'll see the shift actually has a tick box in it now, so if I wanted to delete that specific shift, you can just click the tick box, and then that would just delete it for myself. But if I want to delete it for Richard as well, we would just click that box there as well. Alternatively, you'll see there's a couple of boxes at the end of the line here. If I click the box at the end of the line, it'll select all shifts in a line, and if I select the box in the bottom right hand corner, it'll select all shifts in the week to delete as well. So you can click that and it would select everything, and it's exactly the same for the supported people as well. There's a tick box at the end of the line that would delete all the shifts from that line, or you can click the bottom right hand corner, which would select all shifts for supported people. So once you've made your selection, so obviously I want to make sure that I'm deleting both those shifts, I could have either have selected them manually or used these buttons at the end here, and then you just click delete at the bottom, and that wipes the shift off the rota there. So the next thing we need to talk about is adding plans and adding shifts and patterns. For this team, what you can do is, if you come out of the rota, and we're looking for Richard's team, which is RHCS, so if we remember that, and then we go back into my teams, I'll have to go through all teams because I'm not part of that team, and then we actually search for the team that we want. So there we have there, enable test RHCS, that's the team that we want, and we just tick the tick box up at the top left hand corner in the toolbar here, and that'll bring up the team. Now there's a button here that can take you back to the rota, but at the bottom here as well, you will see that there is a thing called plans. Now plans are groups of shifts that we can add. We can preset what the shifts are and what the plans are, so that it's easy to quickly add a set of shifts for a week. So if somebody gets support on a Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday every single week, and it's the same times every single week, we can just add a plan for that. So if you click add new, you type in a plan name, so let's say we'll call it the master plan here, and the type, well, it's a plan, it's not a shift or a pattern, so we're making a plan here. Status is active. You can turn them off if you want, if you don't want them to be accessible, but this one needs to be active. So you click active there, and you just click the green tick in the top corner, and that's made that plan. Now obviously we've made the plan with the title and everything, but we've not assigned anything to it. So below the master plan, you'll see this other box has appeared, and it's called shifts. So we need to add some new shifts to that. So if we click add new, it'll give you a box here that says type of activity. Now that obviously has one-to-one support, sleepovers, and it'll have different options in there depending on what types of service that your local area delivers. So if we just select a one-to-one support, and we'll give it, say he has one-to-one support on a Monday, 9 till 5, contracted hours. Now you can either assign it to a staff member, so it's going to be the same staff member every week, or you can assign it unallocated, so that when you put it into the rota, it doesn't actually assign it to a staff member, it just assigns it to a blank location, and then you can pull it to a staff member from there. So we've got one day in there, so that's the Monday done. So if we just click this button here, which is save then add another new record, because we want to add another couple of days in. So if we click that, that'll save that day, and then it's going to give me the option to now add another day. So I'm going to do one-to-one support again, and I'm going to do it on a Tuesday, 95 again, all the same details again, and I'm just going to put in unallocated again. And then again, I'm going to just click the top bar there, save and add another new record, which will then give me again, it'll save the previous record that I've just done, and then it'll give me a new record there to start putting in a new day. So if we put in a Wednesday, 9 till 5 again, and again we don't want it to be allocated to anybody on this occasion, and then you just click, once you're finally done, OK submit. So that's now made these shifts available in the master plan. So if you click back onto shifts, it'll show you here at the bottom, you've added 3 shifts, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and they're all 9 till 5. So if we navigate them back to the rota by using this team rota button up here, and then we'll move to a blank week again, so it's nice and easy to see. We just navigate over a wee bit. And then at the bottom here, you'll see the option there that says add plan. So if you click that, it'll pop up with a window here, and it'll say select the shift plan to add. Now we called that one the master plan. So as you can see here, it's saved the master plan because it relates to this team. So if we click on that one, and it'll ask you which week you want to add it to. Because we've only got 1 week in view here, it only gives me the option to add it to 1 week. So we click and click that week there. It actually again gives you add plan as unallocated, so you don't really have to give it unallocated in the previous window. You can assign it to staff, and then decide later down the line, actually when I'm adding it, I don't want to allocate it to the staff that I've originally chosen, so I'll just click yes. I'll add these shifts unallocated, but I'm just going to click no because we've already done that, and then I click next. As you'll see here, it's added these shifts in for Richard, but it has also added an unallocated section because we've not decided who's going to do these shifts yet. So what we can do is we can just click and drag and decide that Colin's going to do the Monday, Colin's also going to do the Tuesday, but we're going to get Brian to do the Wednesday. We're just going to click and drag that up. There we go, drag it in there. And then you'll see that the unallocated section has completely dropped off. What you will see is at the end here is something called that we call rags. Basically what this is, as you populate these boxes, it will deduct contracted hours from the required hours here at the top. So you'll see there's actually 8 hours being assigned this week for Brian. There's actually 16 hours because Colin's got 2 shifts assigned. And I'll actually give you the variance as well, so you'll see there that Brian's actually under hours by 27 hours, and Colin's under hours by 19 hours. And it's exactly the same with the people we support as well. Obviously here Richard has a contract, he's meant to be getting 50 hours support a week, and he's meant to get 7 sleepovers a week as well, but he's not got any sleepovers, so he's got a variance in -7, and he's not getting enough support, so he's actually only getting 24, so he's under by 26. So these actually change colours, so if we decide that actually Brian's going to do the rest of his hours on a Thursday, so he's under by 27, if we add some extra hours in here for him, you'll start to see these go down. So he's got 19 hours to work now. Start assigning some new shifts. He's got 11 hours to work. So we'll make that till 8 o'clock. And we'll assign that. And you will see here it's now turned green and there's a nice big tick because Brian is now doing his contracted hours. If you then decide to add some extra hours in for him again, obviously anything above that would then be additional hours, so we've put additional hours, which is overtime, and we click the tick box. You will see here it adds a new column on the right hand side for additional hours, and he's doing 8 additional hours with Richard, and you can see here that it's actually populated at the bottom here as well. Now if this is what we decide that we are actually going to want for the next 2-3 weeks, what we can do is if we stay on this week and we click the save pattern button, and what we can do here again, like when you delete shifts, it comes up with tick boxes and you can select the shifts that you want to. You can select a week by clicking at the end, you see it's selected all them there, or you can select the bottom right hand corner there, which is going to select everything that's in the staff the staff columns and rows there. And we're just going to call it, we're going to give it a pattern name, so we'll just call this one pattern 1 rich, and click OK, and that's now saved that pattern. So if I decide that actually, do you know what, that's quite a good shift pattern, and I think I'll want to use that again next week, I can just navigate with the arrow to the next again week and click apply pattern. So once you click apply pattern, it pops up with this little box and asks you to select a pattern. So there we go, there's the one that we just saved, pattern 1 Richard, and we just click OK. And there you'll see that it's just populated with the exact same information from the previous week into the next again week, and that's how we use patterns. Similarly, we can use shifts, which is similar to plans, but we can use it for one-off occasions. So if somebody regularly gets a 10 till 5 shift, we can just put a 10 till 5 shift in here, and we can add the shift individually. I don't know if there's any saved here at the minute. No, there's not. And we can just select the days to add them like that. So that's deleting shifts, unallocating, reallocating, patterns, and plans. So if we're happy with that, we just come out the rota again by the cross in the top tab there, and we just go to the logout button in the top right hand corner.